Sup? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I'm Morrow, your storyteller for today. With me I have some more RPG horror stories. I can't believe this channel has soup lore. Like, the word sup is just something I just came up on the spot because I didn't know what else to say as part of an intro, and just became a thing now to the point where now I see comments saying soup, which by the way, I don't mind whatsoever. I do think it's kind of funny that we have our own little like keyword that we basically use, but it's also strange how something so innocuous as sup just became like a little meme on the channel for soup. Anyway, soup aside, let's get some RPG horror stories for today. Entitled player's previous DM never told her no. Demands a Displacer Beast pet at level 1. So basically, the LSG I DM at had another DM leave. I usually DM Wednesdays, but this guy was Thursday. I decided to pick up the slack and run the game until we found another DM. However, it soon became apparent this DM had never told one person I will call Druid no before. She absolutely demanded that I give her a Displacer Beast at level 1 in Curse of Strahd. This was our conversation after I told her we need to take the convo away from the public LSG Discord. Players asking for something really absurd without being completely unapologetic about it or unironic about it definitely could be a problem, but you know what's also another problem? A DM that can't say no. Because if a DM that can't say no to a player that acts for something absurd and always just say, yes, I will get you this, yes, I'll make that happen, they kind of figure out that, oh, I can just ask for anything I want, now I just get it, and they basically never find out that DMs can actually tell you no. Hey there, I thought it might be more productive to bring a conversation into DM and we're not clogging up the group chat. I want to let you know that I'm 100% dedicated to getting you your familiar in some fashion. I just need you to work with me and understand that at the end of the day, this is a game and it has to be balanced. I cannot give level 1 characters a CR3 Displacer Beast, at least not in the exact way that it's in the stamp block. From what I can tell, at least from your messages that you said so far, it seems you're more attached to the Displacer Beast as a companion that's part of your backstory rather than its actual mechanical stats, right? Because I'm guaranteeing you, you're going to get the Displacer Beast in some fashion. I just can't be the CR3 stat block that has more HP than the entire party combined, along with all the crazy stuff a normal Displacer Beast can do. Overall, my main goal is to just not allow a CR3 monster to be part of an already huge party. So could we make your Displacer Beast a non-combatant and more akin to the abilities of the Find Familiar spell? Maybe it gives you some temporary or limited bonuses that recharge on a short or long rest. Something like that is what I'm looking at. If a player wants a Displacer Beast-like creature, like maybe like a weak Displacer Beast kitten they take care of, that'd be one thing, but that would be from a player asking me that specifically. If a player asks me that they want a Displacer Beast, I mean, I don't know about you, but I can only assume the fact that they just want the Displacer Beast with all of its health and all its stat block and its features and abilities and its strength and everything that it got coming in. It's the same thing as, let's say, for example, a player asking, hey DM, can I have a pet dragon? It's a lot different than if you though asking like, hey DM, can I have like a pseudo dragon or a tiny little dragon familiar that I could just have as a pet, like a cosmetic pet basically. That's one thing. That conversation's going that specific direction. But if a player is asking about having a full-on, full-size Displacer Beast or a full-on size dragon, no, I don't think, I'm just gonna say no, because that'd just be way too much. That'd be way too powerful. By the way, I'm not throwing shade to the DM whatsoever. They're trying to work with the player to try to still like have a Displacer Beast without a Displacer Beast stat block, so it's there but it's not there. Like maybe, I don't know, like take a chicken, dress it like a Displacer Beast basically. Stat block of a chicken, appearance of a Displacer Beast, including the size and stuff, you know? And I commend the DM for doing that. I commend the OP for doing that, because you are trying to work with the player and stuff, but I feel like in this situation it might just be a good dosage of like, hey, no, you're not having a Displacer Beast, I'm not gonna allow that. It just simply go with that. I guess my hang up is that I have played her according to her stat card for over 1 year with no issues, and the boss fights were still hard. My sorcerer usually rolls bad anyway, and Kira has saved the day several times. Also don't like change because it usually isn't fun for me. If your pet is saving the day, then maybe it's because the combat is specifically balanced to have you Displacer Beast on there, and your DM is like, okay, well, I gotta plan it out for low-level players and a literal Displacer Beast, so of course I'm gonna have to make the combat a little bit harder because the player can't budge on it. I don't know. Also, saying that you don't like change is like the same thing saying like, I'm not gonna budge much. I don't know, like maybe I'm just misinterpreting the conversation, but a player that says that I don't like change and this would be like difficult difficult for me. It's basically almost like them saying, hey, I'm not willing to budge on this matter. I really want the Displacer Beast. And if you're gonna make me play without a Displacer Beast, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. I don't know how I'm gonna handle the situation. The situation you should probably do is say, okay, well, maybe can there be like a Displacer Beast kitten familiar that I can have just to roleplay with? See, now they were asking about like having like a Displacer Beast kitten. That'd be one thing. That'd be one conversation. You could easily bounce out and adjust things for Displacer Beast kitten. But if somebody started off at level 1 with an actual physical Displacer Beast at door, like behest, so if you look at the stat block of the Displacer Beast, this is the kind of stuff they can do. They have pretty decent health. They have, I mean, I guess decent science AC. They have a really good feature that gives them some huge survivability, and like they do pretty sizable damage. So if you're bouncing around for a bunch of level 1s and a CR3 Displacer Beast, you're probably gonna count the Displacer Beast mostly instead of the level 1s, because this is gonna be the biggest threat that you have to bounce for. And your previous DM allowed you to have the Displacer Beast because they probably were like a never say no kind of DM. So they decided, I'll just bounce things around the Displacer Beast, it'll be fine. And that's where the Displacer Beast is literally saving the day, because the entire combat becomes more difficult because the combat is bounced around this CR3 creature that's moving around with you. I'm sorry to hear that. If you're not open to change, then this table may not be a good fit for you. I'm letting you know that I have expectations on my players and allow for some leniencies, but what you're asking for is too much for kind of campaign that I'm going to run. You need to either accept the fact that I cannot allow any players, not just you, at level 1, or I ask you to find another table. This is my table. These people are my crew. But I understand. I will see what you have. I'll give it a go, and if I don't have fun, I can always leave and have nothing good in my life. It's okay. Okay, hold on a second. This is some grade A certified guilt tripping. If I can't have this, I guess I won't have anything good in my life, but that's okay. That's probably why the other DM had a really difficult time telling this player no, because I probably guilt tripped them about that as well. This is not okay. This is the kind of behavior that simply should not be allowed or tolerated. I hope OP says something or does some sort of pushback about this. I want to be very clear here. I'm the one running this game. I will give my players expectations and rules. This is my game. This is my table. If you would like to DM, please message blank and you may run the table. If you're not interested in DMing, then please understand that I'm the one running the game. I'll work with you the best I can, but you must be open to change. Yikes. You literally just said this was your table and you're a player. I don't know what you mean by yikes, lol. My table as my friends. I understand that. I have friends at Blank's table on Thursday. That's not my table, that's Blank's table. I have no idea on how to run a table, nor do I want to. Misunderstanding then. Apparently, I don't want to argue with you. I get the feeling that you're an extremely engaged person and love role-playing, and that's something that honestly really rare these days. I just want to make sure that we understand each other and that I'm not trying to purposely nerf you. I just want to make sure the game is balanced for everyone. I'll give it a go and see if I like it. If not, then I can always play ESO at home or watch American Dad. My life sucks anyway. Dude, this is a problem player. This is a player that actually just guilt tripping you for the sake of guilt tripping you. I feel like they got more problems going on. If they're gonna be unloading this kind of stuff on you, either A, they got a lot more problems going on that really should not be engaging into like a TTRPG and go into this kind of headspace just to kind of get what they want with their guilt trips and demanding have a CR Beast 3 with them. Sorry, it's not a beast, it's a monstrosity, my bad. Or they're just really maliciously trying to make you feel really bad because they really want to make you feel, I don't know, capitulate basically to their demands. And people like that physically do that. I mean, they're very manipulative people that exist in the world. And some people I've met quite a bit, they actually physically cannot go anywhere about stuff. They cannot just accept like, no, you can't have a Displacer Beast. Okay, then I'll play without having one. It's okay. They have to have it their way, or else, oh, my life sucks. Oh, I am worthless. Oh, this is the only thing I have in this world and stuff. Yada, yada, yada. And it sounds kind of mean to say in this way. Usually it would be the worst thing to assume the worst out of somebody and just assume they're just guilt tripping somebody for a purpose. But I've been around VR chat roleplay groups where somebody doesn't get what they want. Oh, I have a horrible life. Maybe I'll just go unalive myself. You didn't give me what I wanted. You didn't give me the story or the item that I wanted. And therefore, it's so bad. It's literally as bad as your common RPG horror story when somebody just guilt tripping you. Dude, some people join VR chat communities to have fun. Others join in to have it their way or the highway, and they'll do everything they possibly possibly can. Scream, yell, guilt trip, make somebody feel miserable, make themselves look miserable just to make somebody feel bad about them in order to get their way. Don't get me wrong, this is indeed a manipulation tactic. They're trying to make you feel bad so that you can just get their way. You're trying to run a game where it's going to be balanced and they just want to get their way. So like something's going to have to budge. Either they're going to have to leave or you just going to have to give. And I hope you don't give. I understand change can be hard, especially since you guys have had for a few months now. Yeah, but as someone who's been DMing here for almost 2 entire years every single week besides a couple of days here and there, I can attest that I'm an excellent DM. I don't mean to puff my own chest, that's the feedback I get from other players across all my person and online games. I promise I'll provide the best experience possible for you. Speech to text kind of garbled that, but I think you understand, haha. Best I could do is give it a shot, so I will. I really want to know what happened afterwards. I kind of want to wait for part 2, but I feel like they're just not going to be happy and not going to be able to capitulate. But maybe, I could be completely wrong. Maybe instead they're like actually okay. Maybe they're okay with having a Displacer Beast that's been nerfed and reduced on threat level just to have their character be able to roleplay with the Displacer Beast while still having some fun. Things could change around. This could be a life-changing moment for them to be like, hey, this is fine and it's balanced and it's okay. And we don't have to have a Displacer Beast that literally have to save the entire day every single time because probably the combat was balanced around the CR3 Displacer Beast being in the party. I wish OP the best. I wish this player the best. I hope they can find ways to enjoy life again or maybe stop guilt tripping people. Anyway, let's get to the next story for today. Also, I know it sounds really mean to just assume they're guilt tripping, but this is a manipulation tactic they're doing. Instead of just saying, okay, that's fine. Let's see how it works out. I don't mind having a reduced Displacer Beast. I don't care if it needs to be nerfed or just can be in combat. I just want to be able to have one because I think they're really neat and really cool. A player that would really care to have a Displacer Beast, they would go with anything the DM gives them, even if it has to be nerfed, honestly. But if they can't work with the DM on this because I have to have my CR3 Displacer Beast or else my life sucks anyway and everything sucks and I feel so terrible and bad and stuff, then that kind of feels like a manipulation tactic. Anyway, let's get to the next story for today. I've done too much yapping already. I was just accused of initializing my girlfriend when we play. Went to say infantilizing, but I don't think I can change that now. Oh, okay. Good thing you clarified because I was thinking like, what do you mean by initializing? Like activating like a sleeper agent? Like saying some keywords? Red, Lima, baked potatoes or something. I don't know. Like for context, I've been DMing for 5-ish years now. Been dating a wonderful woman for a few months. She's completely new to D&D, but she loved the roleplay aspect of it when she hung out and watched a session. So I invited her to become a player. Thing is, she has no desire to do the math involved, so she was hesitant, but I offered to just have her roll the dice, and I'll do the math for her. Nothing too crazy. She sits next to me and rolls her dice, gives me the number, and I use her sheet to give her the outcome. First session we did this, nobody had an issue. Second session is different. This time, one of my longtime players is there that had missed a few sessions. She made a couple of comments about how it's weird that I'm babying her and doing her math for her. I told her to drop it and that I didn't mind doing it at all, but it visibly dampened my girlfriend's fun for the night. We ended up calling it early and everyone left. My girlfriend Anna feels terrible and wants to drop out of the game, but I'm trying to convince her to stick with it because she's been having so much fun acting scenes out with everyone. I asked if everyone else was bothered by me doing the number crunching for her, and everyone else said they don't care. They liked having her there, and that Sarah, the one who complained, is out of line, which felt good to hear. A few of us, including Sarah, are meeting up for drinks tomorrow night, and I plan on having a talk with Sarah and letting her know that she's out of line and needs to be kinder to Anna and drop this BS. She was cold to Anna even before the incident that night, and that needs to stop too. She doesn't have to be Anna's best friend, but she needs to be cordial because Anna is important to me and deserves respect and basic decency from my friends. I know my other friends are going to have my back on this, but I still am not looking forward to the conversation. Anyway, as far as horror stories go, I'm sure this rate's pretty low, but I just want to put this out there because even talking into the void sometimes helps me with things like this. Basically, what I'm seeing here is potentially there might be something going on where Sarah maybe doesn't like Anna, and it goes beyond of just doing the math for her. That could be a possibility, and I definitely think if maybe there's something else going on, maybe Sarah has some sort of an issue with Anna, that might be good to just clear the air with Sarah, just to make sure things are like on the table, you know? Because if the issue genuinely is the fact that you're doing the math for Anna, then I guess we kind of a little bit of a crossroads here in this situation, because on one hand, yes, you don't mind doing the math for Anna about the whole thing, and the group likes having Anna there. If the only issue that Sarah has the fact that Anna doesn't do her own math and stuff, why not just give Anna a calculator? Calculator would be really good. I mean, actually, practically all phones have calculators, so you just be able to just boop, 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 give the full number and go from there. The fact that Anna loves the game and enjoys playing with you guys is a great thing, and it's an awesome thing. I think it's actually really cool. But also, I don't think personally there's anything wrong with Anna learning learning about how the math works and how to add things up together and how the dice add up together. I don't think there's anything bad with that necessarily. Maybe it might even be good like as a bonding exercise to teach Anna a little bit more about the math behind D&D. Besides, D&D has a really simple math. It's just a lot of additions. That's all it is. Just additions and subtractions, and that's it. And like I said, you could always just have like a calculator, or even, I don't know, set up like a D&D app. So like Anna could just click and then roll it and just read out the number that says on there. I mean, we use Foundry for my games, and Foundry has specifically auto mathing thing where it combines all the numbers together and just spits out the result. No math specifically needed. I mean, I understand no math specifically, but I don't expect my players to be able to calculate stuff for them, and sometimes I just want to be lazy and stuff, so I just let Foundry's automath do it. We have a module set up and everything, sets up a little calculation, sets up damage application, all that. It's fantastic. It's great. Very convenient, very simple, very easy. Could Sarah have suggested such an option a little bit more gently? Yeah, probably should have done that. Yeah. Would it be considered infantilizing doing math for Anna? I don't think so. As long as that's the only thing you're really doing, not handling every aspect of her character, like role-playing as a character or doing cheat management as a character. I feel like math is something simple as that would be really easy to do. Like I said, I don't want to say that Sarah necessarily is a bad person here. Like, she's given a genuinely decent suggestion that maybe it might be good for Anna to learn the math there, because maybe at the table you guys are slowing down a little bit because you need to scooch over, do the math, and continue from there, instead of just Anna just being able to give an answer after doing her own math and stuff. Anyway, if you're watching the video, let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. What do you think about this situation? And I'm gonna get to the next story for today. My DM thought instant death and sexual harassment were good DMing. So I've been playing this campaign for a while, but the last 3 sessions have been a slow motion train wreck. First off, the combat balance is just absurd. In the last 3 sessions, we fought beholders. Our DM made up a homebrew rule where if you roll a natural 1 against a beholder, it gets to use a reaction to hit your character with all 10 eye rays at the same time, including disintegration, which he conveniently resolves last to guarantee death. 2 characters have already died this way. We all told him how unfair it was, and his only response was, "Well, it only happens if you get a nat 1, so what? Am I supposed to just not attack the beholder?" This DM is a buffoon. Do you realize how often natural 1s can happen? While 1 out of 20 chances is not exactly high, is not exactly low either. There's always a possibility that you can get a natural 20 or natural 1, and sometimes depends on the day, depends on life and fate, and how Goddess Timora, the goddess of luck, decides to roll for the day. Whether she woke up happy or woke up upset, sometimes you can just keep rolling natural 1s till the cows come home. For weeks sometimes even, dude. Some people have incredibly bad luck or bad streak of bad luck, but to have this punishing system where you just don't roll natural 1s, basically just don't roll natural 1s in a random chance game where basically everything else is a random chance, everything in the whole thing is a random chance. Your whole thing, you have a 1 in 20 chance to roll natural 1 and potentially have your character be obliterated out of existence because all the rages get used because you just accidentally roll natural 1. It's just how it is. It's a punishment game. Beholders themselves are already pretty powerful. You're using a standard beholder stat block. They already have anti-magic vision basically with their giant eye. There are a bunch of different eye stocks that can do all kinds of crazy things. They already can do some pretty sizable damage. 3 beholders is nothing to scoff at. But now you're having this punishment system where if you roll natural 1, they use a special reaction to unleash all the eye beams and stuff. How punishing of a game are you trying to run? Why do you hate your players? Why do you despise them so much? They're already dealing with literally really difficult enemies. 3 of them, by the way, mind you. And assuming that maybe around, upwards 10th level and beyond that, maybe level 12, maybe level 13. What did the party do to make the DM do this? There must have been something that caused it. Either DM just always thought, well, we should always have some sort of an epic moment or epic fail stuff whenever a natural 1 happens. Or maybe you guys did something so horrible to the point where it scarred the DM and I changed them or warped them from inside. Like some sort of like a corruption, like a demonic corruption. I almost fell. I didn't fall though. I almost fell, but I didn't fall. Let's continue. But last session was the final straw. We're fighting plant monsters. Our high AC tank is a female character. DM had a vine attack grab her. Fine, whatever. But then for no reason, decided to say the vines went inside her armor with a smirk. Everyone kind of nervously laughed at first, but then he kept going. He described the vine touching her nipples and privates, and then actually said, roll the constitution save to see if you... oh my god! god, you playing with a freak! A freak! What the hell? I'm honestly surprised and no, I'm shocked that for the natural one, they didn't say, if you roll a natural one, your clothes melt off and you're naked now. Oh my god, you playing with a literal freak! Like, that's some kinky level stuff. What are we playing? Kinks and Cantrips? By the way, that's a third-party book that has some more not safe for work sexual material. If you didn't know, Kinks and Cantrips, look it up on Google. I want to check it out for myself at some point. Maybe we'll do a read along with it. But still, what the hell? Like, it was already this bad already with a natural one from Beholder just attack. Oh my god, I just realized that. I just realized why they did the whole thing. It's because I bet you they called the natural one reaction from Beholders a Beholder Bukake, a BB, a Beholder Bukake. I bet you that's probably the name they thought of in their head. They're like, they all ice ducks just shoot out all the rays all over you and they shoot a giant ray of Bukake on you. Maybe it's a reach, maybe I'm just trying to be stupidly funny. Is it working? I don't know. But this is crazy. This is wild. I've never seen a story about like a DM using a plant vine to pull some sort of a hentai scene from like a hentai video game you get on Steam for like $5.99 that's been poorly translated because it was made in Japan and it's just been Google translated, which those do exist. There's so many hentai games on Steam, and I can even the specific premise of like female character in plate armor and is either attacked by armor eating slimes, attacked by some sort of creatures that make the armor invisible and disintegrate the armor, or attacked by vines and tentacles and gets groped and horribly touched. This is crazy. This is wild. Whoa. Drop the DM like a bad joke immediately. Just run for the hills. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales tomorrow. Bye-bye.